So my name is Paula Dunne, my pronouns are they, them, and it's a privilege to be here addressing you all today. So we all know that we have an incredible history of trade unionism in this country, and earlier this year saw the end of the 40th anniversary of the miners' strike. But everyone in this room also knows that our trade union movement is declining. In 2023, the number of workers with trade union membership was 6.4 million, which is only about a fifth of the entire labour force. And these last 2 years represent the lowest union membership rates on record since 1995. Trades councils can intervene here to stop this decline and to grow our movement. When a trades council is active, effective, and shows up for workers and oppressed people in their local community, and makes clear to the public our work, what we do, and what we stand for, people will respond to that visibility and will join their workplace unions, support trade union disputes, and are more likely to go on to trades councils through their branches when they see the tangible difference that we can make. Trades councils should be that crucial link between the workplace and the wider working class community. So I've been active in the trade union movement for 6 years, first organising against fire and rehire practices, redundancies and trade union busting tactics as a Unite rep in my last job, and then as a chair of my workplace union as an NUJ rep. Recognising the need for trade unions to act as a more explicitly political body, I saw that the Trades Council could fulfil this function and link to the wider workers' struggle. And so I joined my local Trades Council in Oxford in May last year as a delegate from my Oxford NUJ branch. There was a noticeable gap between the council's work and the visibility of that work in the community, at workplaces and online. So at my first meeting as a delegate, I put myself forward to work on the social media and comms for the Trades Council. Although this appears like quite a simple role, social media today is crucial for that question of visibility, especially to be seen by younger activists. So I've used social media to post photos of picket lines around Oxford, events our Trades Council have organised or been involved in, and used social media for statements responding to our political climate. This includes our solidarity with the student encampment last year, our condemnation of the rise of the far right and fascist violence in cities last year, and this year our response to the Supreme Court ruling and our solidarity with trans and non-binary people. Alongside doing social media for Trades Council, I also became more and more active in an organising capacity as well. So in the summer of last year, I organised a teach-in at the Oxford Action for Palestine student encampment, realising that there was an important role for trades councils to play in rooting student politics more into the community of Oxford and to inspire that energy from university into workplace organising once students have graduated. I met with the students to discuss a possible teach-in, and once I had spoken to them, I went back to the Trades Council to get active trade unionists in Oxford involved. So I organised for local trade union speakers across Oxfordshire from branches of Unison, UCU, NEU, Unite, CWU and Prospect to come and talk to the students about what being a trade unionist is, our solidarity with the student encampment, and to build the link with local trade unionists and student activists in Oxford to organise with each other for future actions in the city. So with the backing from Trades Council and the financial support to produce leaflets for the event to send around the encampment, I was keen to ensure that students who are passionate about Palestine liberation could learn about what trade unions are, because most of them don't know what one is. That Palestine is a trade union issue and that we are part of a globalised resistance movement against imperialism. So what we do in the workplace are historic wins and what organised workers have done for oppressed people globally. So I gave examples of current actions that trade unions do in solidarity with Palestinians. And we also talked about the Rolls-Royce factory workers in Scotland who refused to work on Chilean Air Force parts for Chile under Pinochet's dictatorship. And we talked about the Dunne stores workers in Ireland who refused to handle the sale of grapefruit from South Africa in protest of South African apartheid. And we have a WhatsApp group set up out of this event for trade unionists and student activists that is still in use today. So this year, I was the main organiser putting on the miners' event in Oxford to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the historic strike with input from 2 retired delegates. So the evening was in 2 parts. First was to reflect on Oxford's involvement in supporting the miners' strike, with speakers who were there at the time organising for the miners 40 years ago. And the second half was bringing that historic struggle to the present day. We brought together speakers from National Union of Mine Workers, Orgreave Truth and Justice Campaign, the GFTU, and an impromptu speech from the singer Peggy Seeger, who just happened to be at the event as an attendee. So we also had an evening of performances from working class songs, extract readings, and the headline act band and theatre, who you all heard last night, performing battle lines then and now. The evening was a sold-out show, and there were many unfamiliar faces in the audience, which was exactly what we wanted. So this show shows what trades councils can do when we get the balance of delegates from retired delegates whose knowledge, experience, and proud traditions of trade unionism keeps our shared memory alive, and then also to have active trade unionists who are organising in workplaces and the community and can link those past struggles to the present day and our future movement. So over the last few weeks, I secured support and funds from Oxford and District Trades Council to cover minibus costs, so a group of us, active trade unionists, could attend my hometown of Birmingham to support the bin strike mega picket organised by Strike Map, We Demand Change and Peace and Justice Project. For this wider support, we also need trades councils to speak to each other, to learn from each other, and to fight together. This is the role trades councils can and should play. They need to be the heart of the trade union movement in each location, extending their solidarity and action, not just to local disputes, but nationally and internationally too. If cities need wider working class support for their fight, we need to show up. We need a body of local organisers in trades councils in touch with each other, like other trades councils across the country, and then pulling people together from local workplaces, from local campaign groups, from local residents to plan events, protests, and to organise transport to places that need support, like we saw with the mega picket in Birmingham. Also this year, Oxford and District Trades Council unanimously voted in favour of the motion I proposed for Oxford TUC to affiliate to Strike Map, a project I've also been hugely involved in this past year. Like trades councils, I see Strike Map as an important vehicle for linking up the working class in our shared struggle. This is a tool created by workers for workers, and something trades councils should have delegated people to keep this map up to date, to make sure strikes in their area are public, and other branches and trades councils can then send solidarity, whether that's financial support or showing up in person. So I'll end with this. We need to have active people in our trades councils to drive them forward in these critical years, as we are now seeing far-right narratives dominate this country. So we need to be front and centre of this resistance and not tone down what we stand for. If we pander to any of the trajectory we are moving in, like we see the Labour Party doing, then we are willingly accepting that the goalposts have moved to the far right, and we must fight back against this. With this current government's continued austerity, we should prepare for, and quite frankly, expect another strike wave like we've seen in the summer of 2022, as people's material conditions are not improving under a Labour government. And the far-right trajectory we are on is making people's lives worse in this country, with the scapegoating of migrants and refugees, the scapegoating of trans and gender non-conforming people, disability cuts, winter fuel allowance cuts for pensioners, the climate crisis, the imminent threat of reform at the next general election. We need to link up our strikes across industries and unions to attack the issues head on. We seriously need to re-energise our movement right now to ensure trades councils are reaching the wider community and are immediately there in support of oppressed people, to make sure that workers recognise their voice and their shared interests are in the trade union movement, so that the working class is united in our shared struggle, that this is all our fight and together we will win. Thank you, conference.